History remembers Napoleon Bonaparte as many things: the speedrunner of Europe, a revolutionary mastermind, a master tactician, and undeniably the world's original, undisputed short king. This is a man who didn't just participate in history, he grabbed Europe by the collar and forced it to look at his KDA. We are talking about a literal emperor who fought over 60 major military battles, crushed the Holy Roman Empire into dust, outrotated the combined forces of Austria and Russia at Austerlitz, and rewrote the entire legal framework of modern civilization with the Napoleonic Code, just because he could. His macro play in real life was so utterly terrifying that British moms literally used to tell their kids that if they didn't behave, Napoleon would eat them. He was the ultimate boogeyman of the 19th century. But all of those achievements, all of that prestige, and every ounce of that brilliant military mind means absolutely nothing today. Because history, in all its cruelty, has never tested him against the true ultimate crucible of human suffering: Mobile Legends solo queue. It is easy to conquer Italy when your soldiers actually follow your pings, but could Napoleon escape epic hell? Could he successfully secure a turtle when his tank is actively trying to fight the enemy buff at level 1? Today, we are breaking down mathematically, historically, and psychologically whether one of the greatest strategic minds in human history could survive the absolute unmitigated brain rot of queuing up completely alone at 2 a.m. in the land of dawn. Grab your licorice, put on your expensive cologne, and let's look at the facts. Before we can even talk about his actual gameplay, we have to look at Napoleon's physical setup and his literal gamer habits, because the man was structurally built for the ranked grind. Historically, Napoleon was a notorious insomniac. He genuinely, unironically believed that sleeping more than a few hours a night made a man weak and intellectually soft. That is the exact, unadulterated psychological profile of a hard-stuck mythic player who refuses to end the night on a loss. He is the guy awake at 4:45 a.m. on a Wednesday on an 8-game lose streak, eyes completely bloodshot, clicking find match because his ego won't let him sleep. To cope with the stress of ruling an empire, or in this case, watching his teammate pick a second marksman, Napoleon had two major coping mechanisms: an actual, literal addiction to black licorice and an obsession with dousing himself in high-end cologne. He would be sitting at his desk, sweating through a match, smelling violently like expensive lavender and anise, pounding down candy just to keep his blood pressure stable. He also held the supreme toxic mindset required for solo queue. He genuinely believed, and I quote, "My enemies are many, my equals are none." He possesses the absolute peak level of narcissistic self-confidence needed to look at a team of completely random strangers and think, "Don't worry, peasants, the Emperor is here to carry you." So what role is the Emperor locking in? If you think Napoleon is going to sit passively in the gold lane farming minions for 15 minutes, you clearly do not know the man. Considering he was a master at organizing, planning, and creating pressure out of nowhere, Napoleon is a jungler. Specifically, a high-tempo, macro-focused hyper carry. He does not think in a linear flow. He doesn't just clear a camp, walk to a lane, and hit a tower. No, he's analyzing the entire map state from second one. Let's dive into his actual tactical gameplay, because this is where Napoleon would technically look like an esports god. In real life, his signature military doctrine was something called the strategy of interior lines. The concept is beautiful in its simplicity. If your enemies outnumber you, but they are scattered across the map, you place your forces directly in the center. By doing this, you prevent them from ever grouping up, and you use your superior speed to smash them one by one before they can help each other. In Mobile Legends, this translates to masterclass wave control and lane priority. Napoleon would be absolutely obsessed with managing the minions. He isn't just mindlessly clearing waves, he's freezing the lane perfectly right outside his turret, forcing the enemy XP laner to overextend just to get a single piece of gold. He creates constant, suffocating map pressure. While the enemy team is disorganized, panicking, and running back and forth trying to defend their tier 2 turrets from crashing minion waves, Napoleon is already rotating through the river to secure a pickoff. He doesn't let the enemy team play the game. He dictates exactly where they are allowed to stand. When it comes to objectives, Napoleon would be a machine. He famously said, "Ability is nothing without opportunity." He understands that a team fight means nothing if you don't get a tangible objective out of it. Your average epic or legend tier teammate will see a half HP enemy tank get an immediate rush of blood to the brain and chase them through 3 bushes all the way into the enemy fountain just to inflate their KDA, only to die to a turret. Napoleon doesn't care about kills. The second the enemy team is out of position, he's pinging "Attack the Lord." He sets up a perfect zoning perimeter, commands his roamer to check the bushes, and calculates the exact burst damage required to secure the objective. His retribution timing wouldn't be based on luck, it would be based on mathematical certainty. Under his command, your team would have total objective dominance. Napoleon's most famous quote is, "Never interrupt your enemy when he is making a mistake." This single philosophy makes him the most dangerous assassin in the game. Let's paint the picture. Imagine the enemy gold laner. They've won exactly one 1v1 fight in their lane. Their ego is currently eclipsing the sun. They begin blindly pushing the bottom lane entirely by themselves, with zero vision on the map, no roamer nearby, and their flicker on cooldown. A low-tier, impatient jungler would panic, run down the river immediately, show themselves on the minimap, and scare them away. But not Napoleon. He waits. He lets them think they are safe. He lets them waste their main damage skills on a minion wave. And just when they reach the sweetest, most vulnerable point of overextension, Napoleon jumps on. How Conquest jumped Oliver and absolutely almost ripped his shit apart. Except Napoleon would actually do it. Now, despite all this genius, we have to talk about the psychological toll of the game. Napoleon was famously mocked for being short, though that was mostly British propaganda. He once said, "History is a set of lies agreed upon," which is exactly what he'd tell himself when his 081 marksman starts typing "report jungler, trash core, no gank" in the all chat. Can you imagine a literal emperor, a man who commanded the Grande Armée, being told to delete the game and play Ludo by a 12-year-old playing Mia on a cracked Android screen? Napoleon would try to use logic. He'd type out a beautifully structured tactical critique of why the marksman shouldn't have face-checked the bush. The marksman's response? LeMayo shoddy mad. Napoleon's mental fortitude would begin to fracture right here. He attempts to persevere. After all, he believes victory belongs to the most persevering. He plays his heart out. He secures the Lord, he clears the lanes, he defends the high ground 1v3. But this is solo queue. No military doctrine in human history, from Sun Tzu to Karl von Clausewitz, has ever formulated a strategy to counter teammates with the map awareness of a wet fart. Napoleon can ping retreat 16 times, but his roamer will still try to 1v5 the enemy team while everyone else is dead. He can set up the perfect ambush, but his mage will be busy hitting a jungle creep instead of joining the teamfight. Napoleon is playing chess. His team is chewing on the checkers pieces. This brings us to his ultimate, inevitable downfall. Napoleon famously won over 60 brilliant battles throughout his life, but he still lost the entire war at Waterloo because his sub-commanders failed to communicate, his orders were misinterpreted, and his crucial reinforcements arrived too late. If you have ever played a late-game match of Mobile Legends, that should sound painfully, deeply familiar. It has been over 30 minutes. The enemy base is exposed. All Napoleon needs is for his team to push the mid lane with the Lord. But instead, his marksman is busy taking the red buff, his mage decides to recall, and the roamer gets picked off in the river. The enemy team wipes them out, runs down the mid lane, and completes a base race, while Napoleon is stuck on a 60-second respawn timer. He watches his crystal explode. He did everything right. He played perfectly. He was the MVP of the losing team. So, to answer the ultimate question, would Napoleon Bonaparte survive the Mobile Legends solo queue? Absolutely fucking not. A man can conquer Europe. A man can rewrite the legal systems of nations. But a man cannot carry a team that refuses to look at the minimap. After dropping from Mythic Glory all the way back to Legend 5 in a single weekend, even a commander as great as Napoleon would just stare blankly at his victory deficit screen, sigh deeply, and say, "Dans mon esprit tout divin, je me